Sometimes you come across a movie and, well, it reminds you why you love the genre in the first place. Now, in Relic, we follow 3 generations of women, and they get a phone call saying, well, something's up with Grandma. So they decide to go and visit Grandmother, but when they get there, they realize that not only is her house decaying, but she's decaying as well, and, well, the 2 and 2 might be connected. Now, Relic comes from horror filmmaker Natalie Erika James, and this is her feature debut. She's made a couple of short films, but this is her feature debut, and it comes from IFC Midnight. It played at the Sundance Film Festival, where it got rave reviews, so I was really, really looking forward to this movie. So when I had the opportunity to see this movie, I leaped at it. And ladies and gentlemen, Relic is everything I love about the horror genre, and why, to me, the horror genre speaks so profoundly to me, and why I think the horror genre is not only so powerful, but why it can be therapeutic and helpful. What Natalie Erika James has done in this movie is a marvelous feat that I don't think I've ever seen before, and I really don't want to overhype, because this is a very quiet, subdued type of horror film that definitely you could put in the wheelhouse of horror films, yes, like The Babadook and Hereditary, but I definitely think it's its own separate entity. This is a movie that takes something like dementia, like sickness, like grief and pain, and the horrors of just growth and de-aging that every one of us is going to witness in life, and root that in grief and the horrors of it, but also do it with just this amount of love, blew my mind. Like, this movie is rooted in just as much grief and pain as it is in love. The pain that comes in loving someone so much and watching them deteriorate and die, like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I wept at this movie. This movie, I think, will speak to so many people, depending on where you are in your life, whether you're the daughter or the mother or the grandmother. Like, there's so much about this movie that I think that's going to speak volumes into your own personal life, and I found this movie extremely therapeutic. It is scary, and it is creepy, and yes, this movie does play with some of the old people or terrifying tropes, but it does it in a way that doesn't feel cliched. It feels like it's an organism and an instrument into this overall story that just blew me away. I felt like while watching this movie, Natalie had opened up her diary, and we got to see just these really, really hard pages, that this hard experience that she had not only went through, but reconciled it. The performances are all fantastic, and they're all 3 different types of generations of women here, and each of them are all in a different stage of their life, and watching that unfold was beautiful. This is a beautiful movie, but what makes this movie really come together is the ending. Now, I will admit, the first act of this movie, I could see a lot of people maybe not vibing with it, being like, it's not very scary or anything like that. Now, I've had the opportunity to watch this movie 3 times already, and it has gotten vastly better on each rewatch. But the second act of this movie, that is where the gold really comes out, and particularly the ending. The last 5 minutes of this movie, it's some of the most beautiful, catarrhous, therapeutic stuff I've seen in a horror movie maybe ever. I would honestly rank this as one of the best horror movie endings I've ever seen. But it's also scary. Like, the way I'm describing this movie, it almost feels like I'm not talking about a horror film, but it is. It hits all the boxes that I feel like a horror film needs to hit. It's everything that I personally love to see in horror films. My favorite type of subgenre of horror film as of recently has been horror films about grief and family dysfunctions. And this movie, while it taps into that, it goes a step further in a sense of offering a bit of closure to it all. I really, really hope that a lot of you people go out and check out this movie when it comes out, because I don't want people to just say Relic is the next Hereditary. I want future movies to say that blank is the next Relic. That's how much I loved this movie. That's the kind of film that I think Relic is, and why I think horror films is so important, and why I think horror films, in a sense, they're able to put a monster or a demon to our anxieties and our depressions and our monsters in our real world, and allow us to escape the reality. And whatever horrors that we're experiencing, our realities aren't as bad as the horrors that these characters are experiencing, but we can sympathize and relate with it. And I just think that Relic is just a marvel of a movie. Relic is an incredible feature debut from Natalie Erika James. It takes grief, pain, horror, and infuses it with love, and tells a therapeutic film that will scare you and make your blood run cold, and gives one of the best endings I may have ever seen to a horror film. As a score goes, I'm going to give Relic a 5 out of 5. There's no words that I could properly say that I think is going to do this movie justice. And I know I've probably have overhyped this movie for some people, and I apologize. But I love this movie, and I cannot wait to see what Natalie does next. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Slasher Movie Reviewer, and you guys have just been slashed.